Hello, welcome to Palmerama Reviews, where we look at the wacky, sometimes woeful, but always wonderful world of film. In today's episode, we are now doing part 2 of my review of Fateful Findings. Now, where did we leave off? Now, there's no point in me talking about it. Let's just watch the scene, shall we?
I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide? I can't help you out of this one, Jim.
Oh, God. Oh, it never gets old, does it? There's a reason why that scene is so infamous. So, we continue where Jim has now gone. He cannot be helped by Dylan. Amy has now disappeared from the film. Emily is feeling guilty about Jim's death. And what about Leah? Where does she fit into all this? There's only one way to find out. This is part 2 of Fateful Findings. Ready? Let's go.
Hello.
Well, hello, Mr. Dillon. It's your publishers here. It's been, a while since we last heard from you.
I'm working. I'm very busy.
Ah, wonderful. Working hard on your next book. We've got a deadline to keep, you know.
What deadline?
The, deadline for your book.
No, I'm not.
But
You know what? After giving it some thought, I am not going to sign the book deal with you.
you've already signed it.
No, I'm not signing the contract.
You sound upset, Mr. Dillon, but it's all been arranged.
I'm under no obligation to sign with you. None.
Well, you did. I did. Well, you did.
You never gave me a retainer. I never asked for one.
You did. To buy extra laptops?
I don't owe you any book.
You do?
No book.
No,
that
a
first book made a fortune for you.
Well, we only sold 100 copies. Well, that is rude. No, Mr. Dillon?
That's it. Don't call here anymore. No more damn books. No more books.
Well, how about an audio version?
Oh my God, not again. Who is that woman? I'm guessing it's supposed to be Leah, but that's clearly not the actress Jennifer Autry. I'm guessing she didn't want to do that, and I don't blame her. We know it's not her because the hair's darker and it's much longer than Leah's as well. This bit is weird. Dylan's typing and Emily's just sitting there, and he looks up as if he didn't know she was there.
I can't go on like this.
Whoa, Emily is mad.
I'm so out of my head. I can't go on like this.
How does Dylan react to his wife clearly struggling with her mental health? Nothing. No support at all. Again, prick. Dylan then goes to see his mystical therapist. His Miss therapist? No, that doesn't work. The one with the tiny office. He goes to talk to her, not about Emily, but Leah. He doesn't mention her name, but you can clearly know it's about her.
Tell me about your dream. Is it her?
Well, it's definitely someone who looks like her. At least hair-wise. She doesn't lift her head up, so might be just a bit shy. We then jump straight to Dylan seeing his other therapist, the one with the gigantic office. And Dylan's wearing a different shirt, so I'm guessing it's another day, next week, next month. Who knows? Time has no meaning in this film. Right. What's hilarious is that the therapist starts by wearing a black suit. Then we cut to the door, but the conversation is still going, so we presume it's the same conversation. But when we cut back, the therapist is wearing a completely different suit. And then, while he's talking to Dylan, and Dylan's talking, we then see a shot of Dylan descending the staircase from his office, and then it cuts back to him in the office.
Are you seeing another therapist now?
No. There is no one else. I am not seeing any other therapists. There are no other therapists.
No. There is no one else. I am not seeing another therapist. There is no other therapist. There is something, I wouldn't say special, interesting, unique about Neil Breen's acting. I mean, it goes against every instinct that I have as an actor, and I would have to try pretty hard to actually reenact his style of acting. I mean, no, there is no one else. I am not seeing another therapist. There is no therapist. There is not. Went a bit Tommy Wiseau there. Also, I've always wondered how people can wear glasses like that. I mean, I wear glasses for like driving TV and that, and I always had to push my glasses back up if they fall down that low. I mean, is it something that they're filthy. Is it something as you get older, you know, they go further down? Does your nose become less sensitive? Even for a few seconds, I really don't like this now. I've got to take them off. How? Dylan goes to the park and meets Leah, and we once again get such awkward dialogue and movement. Leah mentions that she broke up with her fiancé because there was always someone else. What does Dylan do? Does he mention he's still with Emily or not? Of course, he doesn't say anything.
I love you. I knew I loved you when I was 8 years old.
And I love you.
It was magic.
No.
Childhood love story.
No.
You're everything I've ever wanted.
No, sorry. No. I know this is supposed to come off as romantic, but it really doesn't. You were friends at, 8 years old? And it was never mentioned anything romantic then. You just said you were friends. And it's been, 40 years? Well, at least for Dylan, it's probably 25 for Leah. And you're saying that despite the fact these feelings you've had for each other forever, not once in that time did you ever consider looking each other up, finding out what the other one was doing, especially as you were living in the same city, let alone state. Again, I really would like to look at a copy of this script. I wonder what the first draft looked like compared to the final draft. No, my luck, it's probably the same draft. We are not. We are getting through this. We get a needlessly long shot of Dylan and Leah walking in the forest, back to the same part with the mushroom, which still takes an age to dissolve. While all this is happening, Emily takes an overdose. As the padding in the forest continues, we see Emily's wine glass fall over and spill the wine over the bed, indicating that she's probably died. I don't know why, but whenever it shows someone kissing someone, or Neil Breen kissing someone, it just looks off. Like, unnatural.
I'm sorry, Dylan.
Turns out, she wasn't dead. Well, she is now. Also, I like in this clip, we can see the wine glass is still resting on her leg, where in the previous clip, it had fallen onto the bed. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I sort of get the contrast he's trying to portray, like the ending of one love but the birth of a new love, but it's done so poorly. And also, let's not forget, he's still married to Emily at this point. So, prick. There's also tragedy that Neil's trying to get across, but again, it's all out of sync and out of order. Let's try it this way.
I'm sorry, Dylan.
Or to really stick it to Dylan, let's do it like this.
I'm sorry, Dylan.
Just really cements that he's supposed to be the hero of the film. We're an hour and 10 minutes into the film now, and apart from being hit by a car, Dylan has done nothing at all to gain any favour or support from the audience. We then get another awkward, uncomfortable and unnecessarily long canoodling scene, and then Dylan finds Emily.
Emily! 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 Emily!
Such urgency in his voice. It's more like he's complaining. Now, if you thought his acting was top-notch during Jim's death scene, watch this.
Wake up. Wake up. It was you. I know it was you. No! No!
Just like Amy and Jim before her, Emily is never mentioned in the film again. Yep, she has no purpose and is essentially replaced by Leah throughout the rest of the film. I mean, I've already mentioned about the padding, the unnecessary padding that is in this film, but there was no point to the characters. If you took Emily out, if you took Amy out, if you took Jim out and Ali out and Leia's fiance, whatever his name was, and just had Dylan and Leia single and meeting again, the overall story and the outcome would still be exactly the same. The only difference is the film would be a lot shorter and my blood pressure would be a lot lower. Dylan rings someone, who I'm guessing is his Miss Therapist, as it cuts to her while he's talking, even though she hasn't got a phone. Then it cuts to her talking to Dylan in the room. She talks about not giving in and making sure you do this one thing to help humanity. And for once, Dylan doesn't say anything. We then get an essential scene. That's such an aggressive way to eat leaves. There's no dialogue for nearly a minute. Just reaction shots. Dylan does something, Leia reacts. Dylan does something else, Leia reacts. Dylan does something else, and guess what? Leia reacts. Fucking say something. Was this 40-second scene really necessary? What did it show us about the characters? That Leia's got some form of fetish about watching people eat dead plants? Fair play to Jennifer Autry. She is the best actor in this film, and she really is trying, but there's just nothing for her to work off. He tells Leia, word for word, the exact same thing he told Emily, and Leia has the same reaction I did.
You're going to get yourself killed.
Oh my god, she actually spoke. The next scene pretty much summed up my mindset when writing the script for this review.
I'm not ready for this!
As Leia walks around a corner, she is suddenly approached by an assailant. After an awkward dance and a blatant dropping of a note, he carries her away and kidnaps her. When the next cut is Dylan walking around the same corner and speaking to her answer phone, narrating what he's doing.
And your purse is laying on the walkway. Leah! Leah, are you there? Leah, pick up!
That's not how voice messages work on phones. I do find it quite handy that the assailant just drops that note telling him exactly where to take her, and it's actually signed by whoever told him to do it. Which we never find out about, of course. We don't know who did it.
Leah, where are you? I've gone into the house and looked for you. You're not there. Your purse is here laying on the walkway leading up to the front door. Leah, where are you? Pick up. Are you okay? Are you okay, Leah? Leah, where are you?
Oh my god. We have so many scenes that are desperate for some kind of exposition and information, and not said by Dylan either. Instead, we get this scene where Dylan is just spouting exposition and telling the audience what we already know because it's just happened and we just watched it. Dylan arrives to where Leia is being held, and the guy seems to have sniffed some of that chloroform and nodded off.
Where is she?
Who?
Leah!
I don't know who that is.
Give me the keys of these locks.
I don't have any keys.
Give me the key to the
I
lock.
don't have a key. I don't know anything.
Give me the key.
I don't have...
Add Master Interrogator to the list of Dylan's skills.
Leah. Leah.
So he can say Leia's name and then disappear and then reappear inside the room as if to say where you want to be is where you're going to go. Ooh, let me try. Away from this film, away from this film, away from this film. Oh, it's working. It's working. Oh, poop, I'm still here. Dylan rescues Leah, and again, Jennifer Autry is trying her best. She's doing some really good reaction shots, but I'm afraid that's pretty much all she can do.
Don't worry about anything. I'm going to get you out of here.
These people.
I don't know who they are. Let me untie you. We're going to get out of here right now.
Okay.
But I need to put the blindfold back on. Trust me. I'm going to do something that you can't see. I'm going to put the gag back in. Please be very quiet.
Why the gag? I can sort of go with the blindfold because you don't want her to see your mystical powers, even though she's supposed to be the love of your life and was there when you picked up the crystal, which I'm not sure, does she know about that? Even though she was supposed to be in the box there as well? Is a side effect of this mystical powers a lack of empathy? Because you've lost your best friend, you've lost your wife, you never mention them again, and that really hasn't affected you in however much time has transpired since. But why the gag? Because at the end of the day, Dylan, you're just a prick. After getting her out, we then get another abrupt cut to a different scene.
You cannot come here again.
But I thought you liked when I came here.
No, I don't like it. You've got to go. Go now. You cannot come here.
He just pushes her out of frame like the gentleman he is. And Ali tells Dylan that it was actually Amy that killed Jim. And how does Dylan react to this? Well, the same way we know he will.
I saw her.
What?
She planted the gun on him to make it look like a suicide.
You have got to go to the police. Now.
Why were you so close to her? And even when yelling, you sound pretty emotionless, like a robot mannequin. Oh my god. He's not as wooden or robotic as Todd from Birdemic, but he's pretty close. While Dylan and Leah are resting in bed, Mr. Shiny Shoes Man reappears and things start moving around. Ooh, so scary. A door opens to where? Who knows? Things start moving around. Does Mr. Shiny Shoes do it? Who knows? I like how they want to show the time and they want it to be midnight, but the clock clearly says 11:59 a.m. so then goes to midday, despite the house clearly being made to look like it's nighttime. I mean, why didn't they just change the clock manually? Dylan, at a painfully slow pace, gets out of bed trying not to wake Leah up. He then rings and leaves an answer phone message telling her that he's got to go out of town and that he's fine in a very reassuring way.
I'll only be gone for a day. I promise everything is okay. Everything is okay. Do not worry, please.
It's as if to make up for the lack of explanation, we then just get a dialogue dump, a repetitive dialogue dump from Dylan.
I'm sorry I had to sneak out on you like that. I love you, Leah. I love you, Leah. I'll be back soon. Don't worry, everything is okay.
Using the Birdemic angle, we see Dylan driving into the desert and then walking into the desert. And just like Birdemic, it's painfully slow and pointless. Then the book appears, as does three hooded figures, who then disappear straight away, and he talks to the book.
Should I be afraid? Should we be afraid?
Don't ask me, I'm just a book. See you later, sucker. Then the Miss Therapist disappears. Mr. Shiny Shoes walks into the house again, and you think he's going to do something, then doesn't, apart from standing on the bathroom floor and bleeding profusely and ruining them shiny shoes. Luckily, Mr. Shiny Shoes then disappears along with the stain and doesn't leave a mess. One upside, I suppose. Then we get to the end of the film, and oh boy.
I want to be honest with all of you. I've been hacking into government and corporate systems all over the country.
Who's clapping? You could have used stock footage where there are actually people by those cameras.
I have discovered more information than any hacker ever has. Ever. What I have found will shock you.
Who are they?
Here are the files and supporting documents. The factual documents. I'm releasing these files to the public today.
He hasn't said anything of substance. Nothing about what these documents are going to prove, just of corruption. What corruption? Any details about this corruption? Just that it's really bad.
Payoffs and greed were always the priority of my company.
What company? Who are you?
I'm afraid of going to prison. They now know my crimes.
Oop. Sorry I asked. Dylan says that these corrupt people need to be stopped and eliminated, and they seem to be doing that pretty well on their own.
I am resigning today as your senator. The people who elected me deserve someone who cares about them.
I resign today as president of the bank.
Today, I am submitting my resignation as Congresswoman.
And other insurance companies are about to be
me and many of my fellow Wall Street brokers have been lying.
So we've had a CEO, a senator, the head of banks, a congresswoman, an insurance broker, and a stockbroker. Basically, any type of profession that Neil Breen doesn't really like. They're all corrupt.
For their lying, their greed, their injustices.
Of course, there's no specifics, and I also like the fact that this crowd is still applauding despite the ever-increasing bodies piling up by the podium. A hitman appears to try and take out Dylan. However, and again, I'm going to quote the Wikipedia page here, who, once again, I think is Neil Breen writing it, because it's the only way to describe what's going on and what happened. Camouflaged sniper attempts to assassinate him, only for Dylan to kill him by reflecting the bullet using his psychic powers. Yeah, if I hadn't read that, I would have no idea how the assassin died. The wonderful world of Neil Breen. Welcome to the Breeniverse.
But you should be scared, because it is the truth. You now have all the truths. The real truth.
The film finally finishes with Dylan and Leah walking through the forest hand in hand, and then that weird wind wisp appears one last time. And that was Fateful Findings. Ooh, that was a long one. It's a film that definitely raises more questions than it answers, in that it answers nothing. What kind of powers did he have? Was there any limit to them? He seemed to be able to deflect bullets, teleportation, amazing hacking powers. Who was the woman in the roles? Who was Mr. Shiny Shoes? Was he the perpetrator of everything? Was he supposed to be the main antagonist? Did he organise Leah's kidnapping? Did he organise the hit on Dylan? What about the Miss Therapist? What about the therapist? What happens to Amy or Ali? None of these things get answered. This is apparently another recurring thing in Neil Breen's films. You'll be left with a lot more questions by the end of it than you did at the beginning. Despite the glaring errors and mistakes, and there are many of them, and the potholes, so many in fact if you put them all together they'd create one giant crater, Overall, I did enjoy Fateful Findings. As you've seen in this review, I have laughed frequently, even if it was unintentional on the part of the filmmaker. Because like with James Newell, Neil Breen is very serious about his films, and the reason why he finances all his own films is because he doesn't want to have any involvement with the Hollywood machine, any producers trying to change any of it. So I have to give Neil Breen a lot of respect and props for making the films that he wants to make, regardless of how I feel about them. Filmmaking is an arduous, time-consuming process, and he does pretty much everything himself. Even during the credits, you will see certain companies with an N or a B in them, and it's stated near the end of the credits that any company that has an N or a B in it was actually Neil Breen himself. So that's costumes, lighting, makeup, catering, visual effects, all these other things. So he does everything for his own films. So well done for him for making his own films and how he wants to make them. Doesn't mean I'm not going to look at them in my own way, of course. So, is Fateful Findings deserving of the So Bad It's Good moniker and being in the upper echelon of those films? Yes, it is. It was so much fun to watch, and it did remind me of the amount of fun I had when doing my Birdemic review and how much fun I had watching Birdemic. So I thoroughly recommend watching Fateful Findings. You're going to have so much fun with it. It will frustrate you. It does get a bit boring at times, but there's so much to make you laugh. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. And oh, I'm disappearing. Oh, it's actually working. Ugh, where am I? Where are my clothes? Oh, I don't like this. Oh, got a bad feeling about... Wait. What are you doing here? What am I doing here? Oh God, I'm stuck in the Breeniverse. No! So, any ideas of how to pass the time? Hello? Hello? I have to say, you're being awfully rude.